Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here at Bish's RV in Grand Rapids, Michigan. My first time covering an east to west Alta. This is I think this was a good one to start with. It is, I think, a great option for a solo or couples camping kind of runaround situation. It's under 6,000 pounds. It has a slide, but it doesn't feel like a camper with a slide, if that makes any sense. Like, you can still have full front to back pass-through access with it. It has shockingly good storage and I think a nice living room, although it's just a sofa. It's not a sofa and a dinette, but it's kind of what I like to call a dinofa. It's a sofa that has like a little floating table, and where that hides in this RV when you're not using it under the bed, I think is really, really cool. A lot of RVs have sofas with a table that like hides behind it, hides behind the sofa. Sorry, I can't speak. And you always feel like you're bashing up the walls or digging up the sofa when you're trying to pull that out. You don't have that problem with this one. I like the way they did the docking center. It actually has a miniature front drop frame on here. It's a floor plan layout I've seen before. If we're calling a spade and a duck, I do believe the Grand Design Imagine is really the one that kind of pioneered this floor plan. But I like having options. Bish's RV, we have Grand Designs among our lineup, so I don't mind, going through and comparing the two. But I like to showcase where each RV kind of stands on its own merits. And I really like what I'm seeing out of these Altas right here. It's, again, not everyone needs a big, giant RV. It has a giant bathroom. It is a walk-through bathroom. I don't know if everyone's going to like that. It has a giant king bed. I don't know if everyone's going to like that, but at least it has an option. You can always size it down to a queen. And this is one of those layouts, looking at it in the brochure does not do it justice. This is one of those campers. It's like a pair of pants. You got to get in the store and you got to try it on for size. You got to see how it feels to you. It's just, it doesn't always translate well otherwise. Because, there's a lot of campers that are like, just a sofa or something like that. This is definitely a solo or couples rig. You're going to see that this has a little bit of guest capacity though as we go here. But giving us things like door side window coverage, and frankly, good door side window coverage, is something they did very nicely here and something I really like. This RV feels anything but small anytime. The other thing here, I'm a fan of rear kitchens. Now, this is a shorter RV, like a really long rear kitchen. The rear end tends to buck and chuck around quite a bit more. So the stuff in your cabinets is going to get rodeo tossed a little bit, but it shouldn't be too bad here because this is not the longest RV. We're going to get everything open in just a second. First, I'm just trying to give you kind of a look around here. I like the light, bright colors. This has a nice, tall ceiling. And actually, one of the things in here, when I'm not yakking, it's extremely quiet in here because this has a big, thick, laminated roof. We're going to get back to talking about that in just a minute. Straight across from us down here, we got that electric space heating footsie fryer. But I kind of like the little pocket in there. You've got, household USB plugs, and then you've got a handy-dandy switch for the handy-dandy televator. And that's what's really cool about this floor plan. It's like, every space in this RV, it does like 2 or 3 different things. So if you want breeze, you want window, you want wide open space, you got it. You need some serious storage, serious kitchen space. And once again, surprisingly, this little camper delivers. But like I said, everything in this does 2 things. That could be, you could add some shelving stuff in there. That could be a giant pantry space. Or you could use it as a closet. Or you could kind of maybe do a little bit of a combination job. Once again, something that I think was probably very heavily inspired by the Grand Design Imagine series. The little pet dishes down there. Thankfully, the little insert, depending on the kind of, dog or catarino that you have, you could take that thing out of there. You could just use it as a drawer. You don't necessarily have to use it as a pet dish situation. That is one of those larger 12-volt DC compressor fridges, giving us travel-safe cooling function. Those things cool like 4 times faster than a conventional, gas-electric 2-way fridge. One of the other nice little things you'll see here, an upgrade from the stick and tin East to West Delaterra, you start seeing things like struts on the overhead doors to help keep those juggled open for you. Now, in case you're curious, a handy little test, grab your phone sometime, put it in, come on, I can't, there we go, put it here and put it in selfie mode, and then peek around behind, oh, come on. I am just striking out here on this, aren't I? Left, right, and center. All right, sorry about that. All right, you can get back here. You can take your own phone. You can actually peek back here. If you ever want to see the construction of how a camper cabinet's put together. This does use stapled fasteners, very similar to, say, a Wildwood Heritage Glen or a Cherokee Arctic Wolf. This is very much in that kind of class and speed, in my opinion. Now, they each do a couple things the other doesn't, but they feel very much like they're button heads. But, boy howdy, that is some awesome drawer space. Great space there for a wastebasket. Like, they've done some really good things here. So the question might be, but where do I eat? Well, if you remembered our little floor plan in a flash at the start of this video, there's a floating table that actually stores there under the bed, which I think is an atypical, but actually kind of a smart location for something like this. Or if you wanted to, you could always float it outside, because that is a sealed edge press membrane counter, just like everything else in here. But remember how I said everything in this RV does two things? Well, sofa does three things. It's a sofa, it's a dinofa, and it is one of the slickest hide-a-beds I've seen in a camper in a long time. And it takes a lot for me to get excited about a hide-a-bed, but this thing is like so cool and silky smooth. Now, I've already taken the back cushions off. You just got to put those wherever you want them. And basically, you're just going to grab this thing, and look at how easy this is. It just slides right out. 1, 2, 3, you're done. And then you just got a little headboard you can drop down if you want to, but if you want it kind of out of the way so you can stuff your pillows up front a little bit further, you can do that too. Then in the morning, it's time to put it away. I mean, this is about as simple and easy and multifunctional. You can have the TV up, you can have the TV down, you can still walk around it when it's out. I mean, this is one of the coolest hide-a-beds I've seen in a long time, guys. And also note, we are ventless. We are carpetless in this floor plan. There's a lot of boxes this checks that a lot of people are looking for. Now, I thought it's slightly awkward, but I'd rather have something instead of just nothing. The way that this wall over here is kind of like another pantry, or if you're using the one with the closet rod as a closet, you know. The only kind of hiccup with it is the door does go down past the cushion right there. So, like, to do what I did just now, I had to pull the cushion down, flip the door open, put the cushion back up. It's not like it's exactly hard or anything. Oh, by the way, not only did that big, thick laminated roof, that is also a standard 15,000 BTU air conditioner, as something East to West seems to do pretty much across the board. So again, we're a little camper, but it looks and feels big. Tall ceiling, lots of windows, light colors, and extra wide pass-through in this huge middle bathroom right here. Now, it's kind of interesting the way that this is done. It actually makes the whole RV a little bit shorter as opposed to a walk-around bathroom. Because if you have a bathroom enclosed by itself and then a hallway to walk around it, the whole RV has to be stretched a little bit. Now, one of the things I thought, I mean, holy cow, hashtag manspread. If you are looking for some serious space to do your business, you can do it. Seems like a lot of people who build this floor plan leave their linen cabinet open like that. That's not my personal preference. I prefer doors, but I can deal with it. I really like the headroom in here. That is something that I can get down with every single day. Again, you find bathrooms like this very commonly in your Grand Design Imagine series. Cougars started doing a few of these, like the 25 RDS or the Bunkhouse 30 BHS. If you're looking for, you like the front end of this thing, but you want bunks, there's an option for you. Now, up front here, you've got a 72 by 80 big king bed in this thing. And look what they did here. We're going to get all this opened up in just a second. It's a little uncommon. I think I would actually prefer those outlets to be on the back of that stand where, you can easily power things into that cubby as opposed to kind of the plugs pointing out toward me when I'm laying in bed. But I think if they were back there, people wouldn't see them. And it has really been my experience that even if I talk about something, if people can't see it, they don't realize it's there. So, I would prefer the outlets to be moved onto the back of that cabinet, but I fully understand why East to West didn't do that here. Does that make sense? And something that's kind of interesting to me, these dressers don't actually connect. If you notice, there's a little gap in there. They don't actually connect to the hanging closet space on either side. And I think that's because these are pretty much always like this, but those can be a little different depending on if you're getting a king or a queen bed down here. More on that in just a second. The Alta series compared to their stick and tin series does bump up to, again, the handy little things like the struts on the overhead cabinet so you don't gotta juggle stuff open with your head. And one last look down here under the bed before we close the slides up and take a look at her in road mode. Once again, table space there. But if you have that table out of the way, that right there could be a huge pooch palace. And a big dog could possibly fit under there comfortably, not to mention over here. By lifting up the bed on top, you've basically created a top dresser drawer. And then they give you a 2-3 down below it. So, I mean, they really, this is a case, RV Nerdism 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, number 37 of No Space Gone to Waste. But if we flip around here a little bit, one of the biggest surprises to me on this camper was actually the road mode access. Because a lot of times when you see a pass-through door right next to a slide, you think it's going to block you off. But this is not a full 3-foot deep, like, sofa super slide like you'd find in a fifth wheel. Now, it's, you know, refrigerator and big pantry and entertainment depth, but when it's closed, you don't even really have to do too much of a sideways travel trailer two-step and you can get back here. And then if you're going down the road, you want to stop and make yourself a little sandwich. You've got counter space, you've got a sink, you've got a fridge available, you've got a sofa here if you need to sit down for a minute, you can have a bite to eat. Although if I was traveling, like, I'm one of those people, anybody else do this? You ever just stand in the kitchen at the counter, just stand there and eat your food? I do that all the time. It annoys my wife, but I'm not doing it. I just stand there and I start eating, then I don't move because food is good. Tacos. Now, one of the cool things on the Altas, like, it's pretty obvious when you look at this. East West makes like Alta, makes Delaterra, their stick and tin option. The Altas here, you can see where it's like everything is elevated, the next step up, you know. Maybe you don't need all the flash and razzmatazz. Maybe, you know, the stick and tin Delaterra is fine for you. But you're looking for a little bit more action. That's kind of where this one comes in. I think that there was a song about a little more action, but never mind that. I've already, I'll end up singing enough later in this video. You'll see. What I want to get at here, though, is you've got a couple things. Like you've got aluminum frame laminated walls. You have a 5-inch vaulted laminated roof, which is similar to like how things like Bighorns and stuff like that. Like, it's a thick laminated roof. And the reason I like that, I want to run you through an exercise, and it's nothing I can show you, unfortunately, but just kind of picture this in your head. Take a crappy little styrofoam coffee cup that you hold in your hand, and you fill it full of scalding hot coffee. But that little styrofoam coffee cup keeps you from getting burned, right? Now imagine you have a 5-inch coffee cup keeping the sun off your head. That is how Alta do. The other thing it does that actually does help a little bit with, you know, weather, you know, heat and cooling and things like that, is they are using Azdel on the exterior layer of their walls here, which is a composite resin material. It's a swap from Luan, and it's a little bit lighter. It is water, well, Azdel itself is waterproof, it's mold proof. It also is a little bit of a sound dampener, so that along with that laminated roof, it will be a nice quiet experience inside this RV if you're looking for a little P&Q. So first of all, right up front, just, you know, what's the rear view mirror look like on this? I think it looks pretty good. The partial paint on that nose cap, where it's black on there, that is a paint package. There's some LED accent beams on either side of that, as opposed to little lights. Instead of seeing little dot, dot, dot like Morse code, you actually have these, like, I don't know, lightsaber glow beams that when the sun's beating right off the nose of this thing, you don't exactly get a good look of that. And I tell you what, I want to give them credit here. They did a great job on that awning, giving us all the awning space we could possibly get on here. And a couple things. It looks like a mismatch sometimes. Like in the back, we have those adjustable stable steps. In the front, we have the anti-slip aluminum kind of like dock plank steps. Why didn't they do the same step on both sides? I don't exactly know the answer to that, but I will tell you, there's benefits to doing this. As you saw, we can walk through the RV from front to back with the slide closed. Well, if the RV's in storage, you can't always fold those steps down. But these steps and that front door, you can always get in and out of. So the RV is definitely going to be very readily, you know, storage accessible as needed. The front compartment here, because it has a little miniature drop frame, it has a surprisingly big front storage compartment. But what's that little box over there, I wonder? Well, that is our basically docking center. And, you know, it's basically just a collection of objects that were all lumped together in one space. I think it qualifies, though. It does the trick. Handy battery disconnect up where cargo shift is not going to bust it. You've also got over here, you might notice, little solar charge controller. If you're familiar from a lot of our, you know, previous videos on Cherokee RVs, that is very similar to what Cherokee calls their juice pack. If you look up top on this, you can actually see it just a little bit peeking over the roof line from here. It does have a solar panel on top to help give us, you know, like a little battery tending charge. And one of the nice things about that is it just basically low battery power is one of the most common causes of a lot of problems in RVs. So many times when people say, well, something electrical in my RV is not working, a lack of battery power is often the culprit. So having something like that that keeps the battery topped off is extremely, extremely handy. Now, one of the things I want to point out to you here, I know that not everyone's going to love this, but giving you that fare info, that's what I want to do. This RV has 2 gray tanks. It has one just for the kitchen in the back, and then you have a black and a gray tank up front up here. That is just one of those things that is necessary when you have plumbing fixtures inside the RV on both sides of the axles. That's just one of those things that unfortunately kind of has to happen. You've got power corner stabilizer jacks. One of the things I liked on those, though, I've seen Winnebago do this, where all 4 jacks have their own independent button. It's not like a scissor system where, you know, it kind of like half the side makes ground contact and then the other half makes, it just feels like you've got a little bit better, more control over everything. Wrapping around the door side here, you do have a handy little, you know, cold water sprayer port. And as you can see, there's all kinds of snow and things around, and I don't exactly like have the ability to lug a drone around with me when I'm traveling or anything, but I'm going to climb that ladder and I'm going to see what I can see up top for you.
Bravely bold Sir Robin rode forth from Camelot. He was not afraid to die, no brave Sir Robin. It's one of the best movies ever. Come on, you know it.
And, you know, getting up here this time of year, probably shouldn't be doing it, but it looks pretty good. As Willy Wonka would have said, come with me and you'll be in a world of OSHA violations. Oh, anyway. So just kind of peeking around a little bit, I want to give you you know, just a look at the size of the solar panel here, just so you can sort of eyeball everything. That spaceship Frisbee disc, by the way, that is your TV antenna. Now, beyond that, I mean, there's not a whole lot home to write home about up here, but I do like that, like, all of the roof fixtures are white instead of black. That will help them avoid getting, like, eaten up by the sun over time, and especially a white top on the AC shroud is something I personally prefer. It's not going to be the make or break thing in the function of your air conditioner, but it does help the air operate more effectively because the air conditioner itself is not quite as hot with a white shroud in the sun versus a black shroud. So nice call, East to West. Good job on that.
So whether you're from the north or the south, you like it east or west. That's so stupid. That's not even a good joke. I don't even know that's a dad joke. That's just a really weak connection. Whatever the case, give us a call. We'd love to work with you when you're ready. If you want to see, you know, where we have one of these in stock and what it's running, check the link in the video description. And as always, hit that subscribe button. Catch us the next time around. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.